So this is Dwayne Stovall about using the Constitution to make change.
Wilson finishes off here. When someone is wronged, can they be successful by presenting the argument that the Constitution does not allow what has been perpetrated with the negative rights things? If you've been,
if the wording is used right, I think the argument can be made using the Constitution, and you can get the masses to move. There's an author who's a professor, Donald Livingston, wrote a book called Remaking the American Union. He told me in conversation a couple of years ago, he said, Dwayne, so how's it going? How's it get off my state going? I said, well, I've talked to a lot of people. Well, how many have you talked to? And at that time, I talked to about 20,000. And he said, oh, that's good. Now, what size are the groups? And I said, oh, 20 to 200 usually. And he goes, oh, that's great. You're never going to change anything doing that. He's 80 years old. You know, you don't have time to waste words when you're 80 years old. He says, you know, you're never going to get. I said, what does that mean? He goes, well, because as societies, he studied republics for about 60 years. He knows everything there is to know about scale and republics and free societies. He said, basically, if you want to change your place in your society, you want to change their pathway, you have to agitate people to their feet in mass. And he said, emphasis on mass. He said, if you have 200 people at your state capitol, it's not even written in the paper. If you have 2,000 people at the state capitol, they're going to get a little blurb at the back of the paper in the local. He said, you put 200,000 people at your capitol, it's a worldwide story, and your politicians become very antsy. He said, until you agitate people to their feet, and he said, most of the time, big changes, big social changes are driven by tight stomachs, economic collapse, people become hungry, they lose their jobs, whatever. Or it can be done by messaging. Part of the reason why I run for U.S. Senate is because I think if you had a bullhorn big enough to make a very plain, simple argument using the Constitution in really plain language, not academic. I'm not an academic and I'm not a historian. So I just talk to you like we're sitting at the coffee table because I want it said the way I understand it. You know what I mean? So I think if you made the argument to everyone, I can tell people in Connecticut, the most progressives around, I can tell them real simply, hey, look, I'm going to need you to support what I'm doing because I don't want any Texans telling people in Connecticut how to run their lives. And they'll go, well, you're damn right about that. I go, well, okay, well, we don't want you in Connecticut telling us either. Fine, you just stay out of here. Cool, we're on the same page. Selling it to progressive Republicans, that's hard because they want to run everything, right? So it's an argument that works with the general public. They get it. So, yeah, I think you can make an argument. You can make an argument using the Constitution. Freedom sells. It's not sold well. Liberty sells. It's not sold well. And if you can push off the whole emotional aspect of, you know, you want freedom and liberty, therefore you want people to die in the street, which has always been kind of the liberal left go-to thing. You know, it's either a race thing or you want people to die. Or if you can avoid that without getting caught up in it, and I'm generally pretty good at that, yeah, you can make an argument with the Constitution. It works every time.